Alright, so good morning, afternoon, or evening. This one we are going to the front, on the Russian front, in the field. 23 May 1942. My translation's not the best. I will have some errors, and I apologize for that in advance. My German's slowly getting along, but without further ado. In the field, 23 May 1942. Dear Mother, it has been a long time since I've been at the front. In a place that everything is cheer and nice to call. I'm probably very interested in the worries and hardships, but I have a lot to endure, and I don't want to complain about my situation. But I would like to ask you if you are angry with me. I still have not received a single line to the front from you. Also, you were in Vienna and did not send me a greeting card. You've always had a greeting card for me. Something must have happened there because you were always so good to me before and now you've completely forgotten me. Believe me, I find it very difficult because I have no one else in the world like my Hermie and you. It is really very hard that maybe something has crept in with you against me because otherwise I could not explain your silence to me. But let it be as it is. Maybe you'll have a few lines left for me one day, for which I will tell you, then I will be grateful from the bottom of my heart. I am still fine and not missing anything anymore. My little company, and it goes on. After a day on duty, shooting, marching, and then again. If there are some quiet hours, I am in the office of my company commander. His support today, I have night duty again. It is just 4 o'clock in the morning, and the messages have subsided a little. So I have some time to write you, even if it will be at the expense of Hermie, because I don't know how long I will be. I am disturbed, but I have to ask what is going on, because you know I like you, and your advice and kind words. They have always been like a comrade to me. I have always been glad when you have written to me. And now on the front already, even since nothing else is just a letter from the homeland of his love. There you do not say. He will write already as I did the Carlson. No, because you are waiting for news of the hour after hour. What is going on? What has changed since the first letter, so indefinitely long? You can think that we are better. Hermie always writes very diligently. But has something happened in the beginning when I complained about her writing very little? Almost every day I am getting a lot of writing, which means every day. In 4 or 5 days, there's sometimes nothing, and then 3 letters come in all at once. All my hardship has come to an end for a few days. Hermie also makes me happy with her behavior, the most intimate joy because she seems to remain strong and upright. And is ashamed besides. She looks at me touchingly, this wonderful talisman that she has sent to me. She made me so happy that I cried like a louse, although we have already become very hard. The pictures are also very good, and all the comrades, including the major and officer, did believe it, that you, Mom, are more dear. Everyone said that you were Hermie's sister, and I was very proud of you. I guess I can tell you that Hermie writes that she saves a lot, so I get a good match for getting married. And that's another one. Pretty young mother-in-law I think I will have. A huge hit. After all, we'll have a lot to do, and I can keep up with you because, as an emaciated old warrior, you will hardly be able to support me much for representation. But I will already give up my first one in order to get the first. To exist in your eyes and yet be found worthy, at least in 10 steps away from being your companion. Must not be angry, dear Mama, but I have to seize you a little and steal that smile on your face, and that is just what I wanted. It has been raining for a week now, continuously. There's only dirt and dirt again, which, however, for our little location is not as true as your newspapers write, that the whole Russian area was terrible in the winter. But even the white snowfields have a nice charm, especially in the evening when the sun is a bloody red. There was a light in the sky in all the colors. It was wonderful in spite of all this. what we had to go through. And now in the spring, there's still a lot more lovely and diligent hands that have cleared away the rubbish and war rumbles from before. And what now? Come on. There's also despair immediately. Everywhere you can see only delightful tender. There are almost a lot of birches and almost a lot of young trees which are covered with embellishment. Everything with the white trunks to the delicate green. And then come dark again today. Everyone is decorated with these birch trees in a festive way because tomorrow is the most open. Therefore, there are some fresh trees in front of every exit, and they plant a magnificent pitcher, and on every table, or what we call a table, there is a huge bouquet of fresh birch branches. Every hero's grave, whether it is German or hostile, and whether we come by one that is not decorated yet, we will make up for it immediately. Even the people of here are not as stubborn as they have always been. I am described as an almost dilapidated Russian house. There was a young man before that, about 17 years old, probably dressed badly, but looked quite confident into the future. When I asked him, he said in broken German that he had 3, and he was in the Russian army, and there was no news that his 4 sisters were in Germany to work. Also no teaching. He himself had gone to drama school, and now his future is disturbed. He doesn't want to live anymore, so you also see the work for their education can only upset one inner again. If there are people, they are those who really appreciate the Russian and consider him only as a stupid bear, who is too lazy to take care of his bread himself, and it is because of the leadership of the people, and the victory will be easy on our side. Damn it, it will be easy to going up with the Russians because he too can be hard working. But he needs a stop at a strong hand that guides him to avenge these difficult years that he has been through. With disease and death, what did the Russian government care about human life? They had, yes, even Russian parachutists drop in from the planes and parachuted en masse, just as expected, and they were already living and killed on the ground, and will have already fulfilled their purpose if 2/3 of them were also killed in the process. And the Russian prisoners are also very well off at the moment. If you take good care of yourself, you're allowed to practice freely. When you see her, that how glad she is that they are among German soldiers working. A man does not think about the thought that these are people who have only been on the rich for a long time. The most important thing to be trained to do is peacefully is laughing and make you happy. Their work, but woe is such a but woe if only such a demolished commissar would come with and would give them the order to slay us in their former. If they were afraid, they would take pity on us and stab us in our sleep, even though they only have good things for us, and feel happy. Even the eggs are like that. How many times have you had to see how they begged for food and stuff? They had a lot of children. What? I do not belong to the rarities. And then they also got plenty of us to share with them food. Do you think they'll be given to their children to keep inside to bring the food? No. They beat themselves in the bushes and ate the better ones. Things like sugar, butter, or fat can be eaten immediately without bread. And at most the bread, then they get away, and they're so callous and raw after all. The Russians are just through the most difficult years under Stalin. I don't know exactly about the World War inside when the Ostmark was teeming with Russians. Even prisoners of war have something. They have listed everything for the beautiful buildings. They have been peacekeeping, well behaved. Just think back on how things went in the Ostmark to Dolphus and Schrungus. At the times, everything was unemployment and the people were stubborn and the work shy. And you were more connected than you went looking for the first job yourself. And yet the Austrian people of the Alps, something, be to the just government, too. Well, I love you, Mother, and I have already given you a lot. I have told a lot of such serious things. Mom, something funny. Comrade, I was interrupted because a friend of mine wanted some information. That was of something which we made each other's teeth long after we served Wiener Schnitzel and cucumber salad. Can you imagine how about both of this revelry? The Wasser and the dog jammed together, but he did not sleep, and when he finally helps his mouth, I started with lemon slices and mayonnaise, because I would have thought that he himself would begin to hide terribly. But he could do for a while and didn't say a word. Well, I was smiling. Damn, after all, we are not doing badly, and something is looking very well at us. I can probably tell you that I'd rather starve in my homeland than suffocate easily in abundance, because I am a good person and a bad one to use for everyone. But as a warrior, there are even something to your own people whom sovereignty and blood matter little. Only you can do this with bloody work. We also received a real joy, just like the Russians who don't shy away from anything, who consider death something beautiful because they go at it like bulls, and that the SS constantly young men for those whom the war is game, and their lifting belongings to only the state, only the leadership, but these are the warriors, it is their craft. And they also want to slay with the victorious soldiers. However, for me it is the greatest importance now that my something, but when the war is over, I want to do less again. And no one can think bad of me for doing a bloody profession. But even at this time, you can believe me that not only I think, but many thousands of my friends can spend another tenure on what would be probably the end. We almost certainly know that even this year, the Russian will be forced to his knees, and there will be happy and glorious goodbyes at home. But first comes a duty. Hermie will probably not left in the dark of our cause, and the divorce with L is almost done. The writings are underway, and Hermie has an original letter from L, which she clearly sees that worry of all our difficulties. And the way out. My brother works together with me and her mom and sister at home on the divorce and the power of attorney. For all the steps, I have missed sending you, and so will not take long. I also have to hand over my last papers, as I have worked with my main already talked about the case, promised almost certainly that I am allowed to go on vacation in August in these few days and be more than a wedding ceremony with my Hermie. It is back to a new seat and the possibility to arrange an immediate wedding ceremony to take a front holiday. If it should only last 4 days, however, I should wait until not getting a vacation there yet, as everything we already discussed to make a wedding, and my company commander will also come there. He did to me something. Cannot read the whole sentence. If something should happen, which unfortunately is not excluded, then Hermie is considered my wife, and she is to be taken care of. But I hope a peaceful outcome of the matter, because I'd really like to have a little happiness at my side about everything. And if you should go and take everything from me because of the divorce, I have a good profession and I'm not lazy. I'll get back on my feet right away, and we'll be fine. I'm just the one glad I didn't have to get the divorce by force, because Elle has to do some very hard stuff, and the reason was accepted, and it passes by mutual agreement, as has always been my small war. So the tip is broken off. Yes, I wanted to have already been divorced, in the sense in the past, but only after the war. Hermie doesn't know about her myself, but becoming a mother, as a matter has turned out to be a little easier, and there was a very mean fight they can probably believe, but I ain't know that I was worth so much, and that they tried so hard for me. I have remained the winner, and now I will not be long any more, and I will send good news. It was not easy to be done, but I'm not afraid of serious injury or death. There will certainly be nothing for me, however. I'm afraid of gas, and I hope that I'll be able to get out of the coming out of hell. Well, Mama, please let me hear something from you. I will send you the warmest greetings and forgive. A generous son's kiss if you are or are not angry with me. You, my dear young pretty mother, you are beautiful, and something with my little wife and with you. So that is the letter. Yeah, it was not the most well read, and I apologize. It's a little hard for my German still, and hopefully I'll get back to this one again. But hopefully you all have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. And this is Chris signing off.